You're watching a clip from Brewcast. Doing really good. I wanted to take a look back at Israel. You know how we were talking about Charlie Kirk's assassination and Israel and stuff being like all of the different information coming out, what is true, what is not, who's lying. Ian Carroll, I didn't know he existed until I saw him do something with Candace, but he makes some really good arguments. There's some really good questions based on what a Turning Point member presents of information. And I went ahead and just did the current time of it. So 486 seconds inside the video. And I encourage everyone to go watch this whole 22 minutes. We're only going to watch maybe like a minute or two of it just to kind of set the stage for the idea. Yeah.
You very rarely see from someone that he was freaking out. And then I think he literally said to me, I might be imagining this, but I think what he literally said was he was looking around and then he says, I need to call Erica. And then he takes his phone and he begins calling Erica. And I don't want to disclose how that.
So he's talking about one of the gentlemen that was standing next to him at the Charlie Kirk tent, just for reference.
Yeah. Call unfolded. But he did that. Your mind extends all of this, but that is happening within a minute of all of this occurring. I remember he calls Erica. Around the same time, I pull out my phone and I call my mom just to say, Mom, there's been a shooting. You're going to see it on the news. I'm okay. Pray for me. I've got to go. And I remember that call.
What I would have done.
And around the time I put that phone away, and then he immediately calls his dad. He calls Rob McCoy, and he says, Dad.
So we've just, explained both of the theories that are going around. We hit both of those theories. So check. What are we talking about now?
Someone shot Charlie. You need to call all of your pastor friends. Charlie was hit. We need everyone to pray
Rob
right
McCoy.
now. And
did you say something?
No.
That's what he told him.
While he's walking away to the parking lot. How fast were these conversations? Were you there for those conversations, Blake? Because we have video of him walking away to the parking lot on the phone. You were not with him when he walked away to the parking lot on the phone. So are you basing this off of your experience, or off of what he told you?
And
which are fair questions to have with how the information is being presented. I think so.
Yes.
It's very disgusting for me as someone who witnessed this, who saw Mikey hugely distressed and then step up in the moment. Because
step up? You mean step out in the moment, actually, I think. Anyone in their position that can't realize why this looks suspicious and instead jumps to, this is disgusting, you're an idiot. How dumb are you?
That's not necessarily, how do I say this? Was the thing we talked about yesterday that we couldn't remember, the fallacy? I can't remember the fallacy you were talking about, the name of it.
I don't.
The one where they're given two choices.
Oh, false dilemma.
Yeah, false dilemma. Is what this guy is doing.
That's what who Ian Carroll is, or
no, the bald guy.
Okay.
He's doing a false dilemma. If you it's either this or that. That's basically what he's saying. So that in itself makes me think that they are covering something up. Just that alone, because you don't immediately do that.
It raises suspicion, but Ian Carroll also said
too much suspicion.
He's going towards this is disgusting for people to act this way. I don't feel like it's disgusting to ask these reasonable questions of these situations and these conversations, because they matter. And it's the same dismissive tactic that concerns me.
Yes, and this one I've actually, kind of side note here, I may have mentioned this before, but in the military I actually got in trouble for asking too many questions. I was actually told to shut up and color once. And when I asked, I of course, respond with the question with, well, then how am I supposed to know what I need to do if I don't know how to do it, if I can't ask a question? He didn't have a response. So this was from a E5 tech sergeant, and I was an E1 airman at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not allowed to ask questions, about something that is important, and it's because of two things. One, they don't have an answer and they don't want to admit it, or two, they don't want the answer to be known.
Seems to be the
So which one is
case.
it?
I
Yeah,
mean,
which one
I
is it?
think any reasonable person should automatically shift towards that mindset of like, okay, well, if it's not a big deal, why won't you tell me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, then you're hiding something. I could reference a
So
real life example, but there's no reason to equate that right now, and it's way too personal. So, yeah, I want to continue just a little bit more of what he says, because he gets
yeah,
into
go ahead.
showing the video that he's referencing.
Of course, this is suspicious. And maybe there isn't a rational explanation, but it's still a really dumb strategy to call it disgusting instead of to acknowledge how suspicious it looks.
Yep.
Because we're going to come back to the hole in this whole thing.
There's been multiple people that have worked for Turning Point USA that have made statements, and I'm doing my best to kind of like, other people seem to be really on top of it, and I don't feel that I would be able to find anything new based on what's available other than sitting down and trying to do like a documentary of what's actually going on. At some point it will probably need to happen though.
In just a second.
After that call was over, I saw Mikey like get total mastery of himself, that he realized he had to step up in this situation. And from that point, he was like a general directing a battle where he was, grabbing people and saying, okay, we need to.
So this is after he walked away to the parking lot? Did he come back? Or what? Is this when he got all the blood on him that wasn't there?
Get to the hospital, and we need to.
What? The car was gone. He was walking away as they loaded him into the car. He had nothing to do with them loading him into the car.
Do these things, and you guys need to wait here. I need to get in here to get information so that I can get it to Erica. And
Well,
when we learned he was dead, he came out and he told us, and then he says, now none of you can say anything that you've heard, because Erica is not going to hear about this from anyone except me.
Can I ask a question? I've just been thrown into this.
Yeah, we're just about there.
Guys, what kind of testimony is this?
Yeah.
This is them loading Charlie into the car. This video is not going to show enough of it. We want this video. Okay? So, this video is the same time frame as he's being loaded into the car. That is Mikey McCoy back there, walking away.
The person the guy's referencing.
The bald guy?
We have it on video.
Yeah. No, not the bald guy. The bald guy is referencing that guy.
Okay.
He did not compose himself and come back and get his wits together and start directing everything and say, hey, we need to get him into the car and get him to the hospital, and I'm going to get into the car and take him to the hospital and all that. Like,
that captures kind of the essence of what I wanted to start with. If everything here was factually accurate, I mean, if you've seen other videos, Candace has done a good job the last couple of days putting out videos of like good angles of the person turning and walking away from the tent as soon as immediately, like milliseconds, I think it was like less than a second after the shot goes off, the guy like calmly is walking away on his phone. Not maybe calmly, but like walking away already on his phone. His phone was already in his hand. There's so much suspicious shit. And let's just talk about the camera. The one of the camera guys said, oh, well, my first thought was I need to make sure that I have this footage available. And he gets on the chair to pull down a camera. And that's, I've worked live shows. That doesn't fucking happen. That's and if that's your first thought, I'm sorry. There's something fucked up about this whole situation, and it doesn't get better.
Oh yeah. I know you're talk about that in a sec, but when the whole thing happened, I of course put on an old hat and went into, my analyst mode and began to watching and trying to figure things out. And I noticed the fact that the guy walked up and took the camera immediately afterwards.
Yep.
And the personal opinion here, the weapon described does not match the wound inflicted.
The Mauser?
And the way
30-06.
in the way it all came down. Like, I'm not going to begin to allude anything else beyond that.
Yeah.
So the fact that he can't grab the camera as quick as he did, I don't recall. Did he take the whole camera down?
I can't remember.
Or just the video, or just the card out of it, memory card? I think he took down the whole camera. So angles matter, and how a lot of the, much I don't want to recall this, the blood came out, does not match a 30-06. Period. And the angle from everything, it kind of looks like it came from that camera.
Wouldn't taking that camera down be tampering with evidence at that point? Because that would be a crime scene then.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be a crime?
Yes. But what's on the screen is the person who would be the one almost the ultimate authority on getting someone arrested.
In that, according to their
sorry. Didn't mean.
Yeah.
I just wanted to catch that.
No, that's it. That was it. I was going to say, go ahead.
So the initial title for this video from Redacted, and I generally try to check into what they're usually on the front end of stuff. They're usually on the front end of stories, I think, and I think that they do a pretty good job just being honest and genuine. I don't think that I've ever really gotten a creepy vibe, like they're intentionally trying to mess with me. And they've had people on with some crazy opinions, and they've even disagreed with them. But the title for this video was originally called Tulsi Gabbard Furious After FBI Blocks Investigation into Charlie Kirk's Assassination. So as we can, and I'm pulling that because the bookmark tab, I'm guessing the metadata for the site didn't update based on this title. So that means that they changed it.
Oh, that's interesting.
So they changed it to "We Were Right." So I'm guessing they're confirming more of their original position, saying that the FBI covered up possible foreign involvement. There's no real reason to play the video, even though I would recommend everyone go watch it. It's their October 30th on their YouTube page. What is the first foreign involvement, foreign country you would connect to this?
Well, there's three.
What's the first one that comes to mind?
Well, the first one's Israel. Just bluntly.
Okay.
Second's Qatar. Third one is Egypt.
Okay.
So
now,
but however, I do want to quantify this a bit. Israel's the most obvious. The other two, though a definite possibility for various reasons, may be misinformation that's been put out there to deflect away from Israel. So, but I have seen information about both Egypt and the other country that I just forgot suddenly.
Egypt, Israel, and
Qatar. Sorry. So I just for some reason forgot the country. But I think those two, I mean, assuming, well, I can't really make assumptions. I can't really build a framework with that. There's been a lot of information that's been coming out after this or shortly before this that is pointing that there's some involvement with Qatar or Qatar and some involvement with Egypt. So there's a lot of misinformation out there, and it always seems to happen after something about Israel comes out. So
we have seen up to this point the level of effort gone to obscure and hide information about Israel, even the shit that went down in Nevada with like the dude that had 100%. Something. They're like cybersecurity person. Like we covered that second week. Mm-hmm. And now we know that Charlie Kirk was under pressure from funders and donors. We know that some of them was Israeli money. So there's it's an easy narrative to make, saying that, oh, well, Israel did it. But at the same time, they just keep fucking shooting themselves in the foot if it's not true.
Yeah, if there's smoke. But yeah, it's like I'm very reluctant just to come out and say that there is a definite Israel connection, but there's too much pointing or alluding or connecting to it. And Netanyahu's campaign to use influencers to, try to stop this anti-Israel sentiment. I'm not going to use the word anti-Semitism to describe it. Anti-Israel sentiment growing within this country, and Charlie was supposed to be part of that. And the moment he decided to push back and say, "I no longer believe with this," what happened. So there is too much of a coincidence. There is too many lines that are connecting back to Israel. And the problem is that you have Mossad, who have done multiple information manipulation campaigns throughout the United States. That's a proven fact. I'm not going to sit here and begin to, state what is what, because various reasons. But
yeah, don't they have that zero click software or app?
Be more specific. I'm not the name. I think
it's called Pegasus. It's like zero click spyware. You can send it to somebody and it just automatically takes place, automatically loads. I'm pretty sure it was.
I am familiar. I have heard something about that before, but I'm not 100% sure exactly what that would entail or how that would be done. But it's well within. I mean, it's just with my software engineering experience. Yeah, that's not overly difficult to do. The question is when you just say send it, is the question I have.
So essentially, it was the way that it was referenced is I could send it to you, and it would automatically be added to your phone. You don't have to click on anything. You don't have to open the text message or anything.
Oh, using a backdoor. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the question I had. So yeah, they just use a backdoor, which doesn't surprise me. As far as I know, that's currently on my phone, but good luck. So.
I know you're important, but I don't think you're that important yet. You're that important to me. I'll send you some viruses. Don't worry. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. But it's just there's too many questions that are unanswered, and I'm sorry when the FBI says, "Oh, we're not going to even look into the possibility of foreign influences." It also means they're not going to be looking at Israel or AIPAC, and that's just to clear the air, right? Like, how hard would it be? I mean, of course, regardless of what you put out, no one's going to believe you these days. So I guess there's really no winning.
I have to say that there's a distinctive possibility that that's what they're claiming and not actually doing. And they actually are looking into the foreign influences.
It would make sense for a misdirection aspect, but yes. it even kind of works because everyone's like, fuck the FBI. They're just going to lie anyways. So you could use that to, an asset. You can make that an asset. Sure.
Yeah. Which I can't definitively say one way or another. I'm not even going to comment on the likelihood of it because I really don't know. But just thinking from, a investigation aspect, and if it does involve a foreign country, especially one that's supposed to be America's greatest ally, and you're coming to find out that they've been manipulating, doctoring, misinformation, and behind some of the greatest atrocities that occur on American soil in the last century. Not saying they are, but just if you come to find out that is, they are the ultimate perpetrators, and maybe even 9/11. Again, not making the claim. Then you have to be very careful in how you investigate it and how you present that information. Because the moment you release or make any comment to allude to the fact from an official government source, such as Castro Patel, even the president himself, that Israel was behind, Charlie Kirk assassination, World War III begins immediately.
Why?
Because at that moment, Israel will lose its shield, and the rest of the Muslim world will pounce.
Yeah, but isn't it? I see that this is where the Jewish people and Christians, right? I mean, essentially, like we can't really talk about Israel without talking about Judaism or Jewish people. It's just it's just what it is. So it's hard. We have to reference the people instead of just the country. But outside of, well, there's theological differences, but the overarching desire or intention of the religions is for life, allegedly. And I say allegedly just because I don't know if there's any kind of Israel ties to feminism, just to be safe.
I'm not 100% sure what you're going with here. I'm confused. May not have gotten to it yet, but I'm confused.
I hadn't gotten to it yet.
Okay, sorry.
What did I say?
The religions, both about life.
Right. So it's the common ground that they have that makes them allies, because, like I use the abortion debate, for example. We want to see life thrive. We have the same Old Testament theology understanding, right? They just don't prescribe to who Jesus is. They viewed him as more of a political figure than the Messiah. But that's the overlap that gives, I don't know, the best relationship between the two. But yeah, without U.S. support, I'm pretty sure Israel would just get destroyed by
they
Middle
get rolled
East.
over, 100%. Because the moment, if America were to come out and say that we are no longer supporting Israel in any way, shape, or form because they are behind all these attacks and manipulation and everything else, and the government admits to it openly, because they may already know, but they're just not admitting to it because of reasons I've already stated, then that's it. So the question is who's going to come to the defense of Israel outside the United States? Maybe Europe? Of course, now Europe's being overtaken by...
Europe's not going to. I mean, maybe specific countries in Europe, maybe Italy, maybe Poland. Outside of that, I don't think anybody would.
No, because of the whole Palestinian, war and everything else, and the genocide and everything that, they're all yelling and espousing, and the voting in the UN, especially the Security Council.
But do you see how this whole situation crept up because they gave up their moral authority that we were talking on earlier in the show?
Israel?
Yeah, because they responded to the October 7th attack, right? Whenever the paraglider came in and murdered a bunch of the people at the music festival.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Okay,
so
I see what you're saying.
That was the door that Israel started to use to go demolish and destroy Gaza. Right? That was
see what you're saying.
That was their Charlie Kirk moment to make a push. They ran that line too far, and they were like, well, we're just going to end it now. And if I mean, see, this is where you get into the ethics of it. If you are facing someone that only really wants to see you dead and will wait as long as is needed and will take any opportunity to do it, is it in everyone's benefit or just your benefit to completely remove it? But they lost the cultural or the social element of it. They lost the control of the narrative. And now multiple people are like, I can acknowledge that that innocent people were getting killed, right?
Yeah.
But that's looking at the Free Palestine, they're being attacked by Israel. They do this all the time, but they were responding to October 7th. But then again, the whole feud's been going back for hundreds, thousands of years.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know the exact time frame, but at least like 800 or something years, yeah. But ultimately, well, one, you got to... Charlie, even though this is probably one of the reasons why, if indeed Israel is behind it, why he was probably assassinated with Charlie Kirk, is that he asked the question, was a stand-down order issued? Which, from what I understand, the answer is yes. And so they allowed an attack to occur.
But it's not, I don't
that assumption.
See, I don't even think, I think it's about much bigger than that, because look at the amount of influence Charlie was already cultivating. Look at how many young minds he was able to plant any idea that he wanted into. Like the college students right now in the Turning Point USA are prime targets for propaganda.
Yes. Oh, I 100% agree with you. I do think that, I guess what I'm saying is, how do I say this? Essentially, Charlie Kirk hit the critical mass. And they realized that they didn't act immediately, it was going to get out of hand, even further outside their control, or even get to the point where they can no longer recover.
Because he
And
also stopped supporting Israel, right?
supposedly, yes.
Okay.
But by asking that question to Ben Shapiro,
Mm-hmm.
that was the moment they decide that probably Ben, I mean, I'm not saying Ben was a part of the assassination, but if he is a part of this whole Israel um, regime inside the United States, so on and so forth, I wouldn't be surprised if he was the one who said, "All right, this got to go," because I've even seen, like, I've seen that exchange multiple times between them, and the expression, just some micro expressions that happened with Ben that you don't typically see. And then of course, a couple of days later, Charlie's gone.
I've
So
always
again, not making any accusation, but there's a lot of weirdness with Ben Shapiro right now.
Speaking of Ben Shapiro, I have always had this scratching feeling in the back of my mind about the Daily Wire being a Fed asset.
I can see that.
I don't know why, but just like how successful they became, the money behind it, the religion of the people behind it.
It may not. I don't know if I would say Fed asset.
Yeah, that might not be the best.
I see the point. I see where you're going with that.
An asset for some other type of influence, but there's definitely some kind of unusual support behind it.
No, 100%.
At least with how it started, because it started with Ben Shapiro, California, Los Angeles, Jew.
How long ago was it?
A couple years. See, they came.
I
Daily Wire. Daily Wire came out like it was around like earlier COVID era, somewhere around there, I think. So maybe like, yeah, somewhere around there. I think it's whenever I started kind of queuing in, and then it
look something up real quick.
Yeah, the rocket launched from there. Don't worry, Daily Wire. I'm not accusing you of being Mossad agent.
September 21st, 2015.
Okay.
Shortly before Trump was elected. That's significant.
It's significant.
You have just made a connection that I don't think you really realize you've made.
What did I accidentally do?
How many presidencies has Trump actually been the president for?
Allegedly 2. Well, 1.
You know how I brought up earlier about the whole QAnon thing and how I mean, again, I'm going to make that very clear. I'm not saying I believe it, but there's a lot of weirdness to the deltas and how the dates are lining up. Even the times of the posts are lining up.
Okay.
So if what I understand about the QAnon phenomenon, the Q phenomenon, again, not referencing our boy Q here, but the military, supposedly military operation,
not me,
is that from what I've researched and what I have seen is that the military, high-ranking military, certain members who were not part of the Biden leftist regime inside the military, is like a separatist, constitutionalist sect, I guess, inside the military, went to Trump shortly after he was elected and asked to be the commander of their little organization. And Trump has been the guy who has been supposedly, again, this is in the QAnon world, supposedly directing the now going on 10-year military operation that started around at the time he was, elected president. And actually more than 9 years. And this whole thing with the QAnons, has been a script that they have been working with other world leaders, to include President Putin, to include Xi Jinping of China, to include Japan, South Korea, and a lot of other leaders that have been working together to dismantle the quote deep state and the banking cartel, world banking cartel. And the fact that you said that, and the launch date is September 21st, 2015. And this is shortly before, got my months mixed up, Trump was elected. That's a coincidence. That's a major coincidence.
It's definitely something to look at.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying that I believe it, but there's a lot of weirdness that my analyst brain cannot just walk away from when it comes to talking about the QAnon. And I mean, I went and looked at some of the drops and was reading through some of the stuff. A lot of it is fluff. A lot of it is um, interpretation that people are taking versus what the post actually is. Maybe. And again, it's if this really was some kind of military intelligence operation, um, it's coded, and I don't have enough information to decode it. But there's something with it because it's too coincidental. Too many dates line up, too many times line up, too many numerology bullshit that people are throwing at it is actually lining up. But again, it's interpretation.
Yeah, but I think the only way that you could even really start taking any of that stuff with a bit of salt would be to find someone who has been correct and has made logical, good arguments and is connected to reality.
Yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I'm not giving credence to it too much. But it's still like you have that itch or that feeling in the back of your mind about the Daily Wire. I have a feeling about Q that there's something to it. There's something there. There's a reason why that everything is aligning, even a small amount to it. Again, a broken clock is right twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
But this has been right more than twice a day when it comes to the Q stuff. But again, interpretation. Again, it's influence. It's propaganda. It could literally be that whoever Q is, they're going to come out and say, this is Q, this is why we did it. And it will create this sense of understanding across, the general populace, saying that we were in control this entire time. It could be complete bullshit, though.
I don't know, man.
So, like I said, I'm not saying I believe it. This is just within the framework of the QAnons.
I know.
This is kind of
I'm
what
just,
they're saying.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just like trying to play it out in my head and like.
Well, I'm saying it more as for anyone who's listening to saying like I'm not personally believing this. I'm just again framework. So that's not for you. It's for other people who might try to take me out of context.
Oh, you didn't want to talk to me? Okay, fuck you too.
Well,
I'm kidding.
You know what I'm trying to say.
So yeah. Anyways, just lots of just one touch on that thing. Like I haven't, I'm aware of the Q stuff that you're talking about. It looks more like a thought exercise for critical thinking. As far as if you wanted to apply a practical lesson from it, you could look at it as critical thinking training.
That's one way to look at it.
Because you're not going to be able.
That's actually interesting.
Yeah, you're not going to find de facto, proof from it. You'll find coincidences. You'll chase rabbit holes, but then you'll also be like, wait, I've gone so far down this rabbit hole that my logic has departed from reality, and then there will be a real life event. You'll be like, oh wait, I was wrong. So, yeah, it's
100%.
Yeah.
It's just there's I don't remember the name of it or the terminology or anything that goes with it, but there's a train of thought that when enough people begin to adamantly believe something, it actually manifests itself into existence.
Really?
And
I want people to adamantly believe that we are amazing and that they want to listen to us.
Well, that kind of goes down multiple rabbit holes, but I guess one I can kind of allude to a bit is the the matrix thought, or the fact that we live in some kind of simulation and it's controlled by consciousness. And so if you're able to convince enough people to consciously look toward a direction, look at pieces of information, or come to a certain conclusion, it will actually manifest it into reality. This is actually something the CIA has looked into and researched. I think it was, what was that? I think it was MK Ultra, a version of it, where they were trying to figure out how to manipulate reality. And I'm not saying it's fact, but the QAnon could be something along those lines where they are trying to exploit that code in the matrix, so to speak,
I mean,
in order to manifest a reality. So
it's completely reasonable. I mean, MK Ultra is real. We know
Yeah.
that it's fucking real. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just one of those things I think about. Again, necessarily believe, but I do process because it's interesting to me. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, hell yeah, man. I think that kind of wraps up what we have for this, because I don't think we're going to be able to get in that last section. We'll move that to next week because it kind of works anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you would like to tell everybody before we get out of here?
One thing I'd like to say is again, like we have the 5th coming up and supposable, mass unrest and surrounding the lighthouse and different Capitol buildings in DC. I don't think it's going to come to pass. I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens. But something I think is going to happen within the next few days that's going to prevent or at least not allow that mass unrest to occur. I could begin to allude to multiple different things that could happen, but I'm not even going to try. But I do think, again, mostly I'm saying this to be safe. And if anyone actually listens to this before an event occurs, be safe. Hope you have some food. And if for whatever reason that the internet goes down for a certain period of time and we're not able to do this, good luck. Wish you guys the best. Stay safe.
Damn, you're going apocalyptic with that shit. Also, make sure that you're stocked up on food and supplies if you can, and be aware of people looting, robbing, stealing, threatening people over the next couple of weeks, or we'll see how this EBT struggle session goes. If it continues and it gets worse, just be attention to the environment around you. All right, well, that will be it. We'll go ahead and get out of here. And as I like to add on, as Brewer likes to say, be the rising ship to sink all the tides around you.
Be sure to follow and subscribe.